It's all fun and games till someone gets shot.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about a lot of things. Marvel Rivals and a great skin that they brought to the game. Some good old-fashioned Tekken backlash, like that game hasn't got enough of that during its lifespan. We're also going to be talking about things that PlayStation is doing. You know, they're getting very crazy over there, and a couple other topics mixed in. Like, for example, we'll start off with this one. Everyone's excited for Virtua Fighter 6, Virtua Fighter Crossroads that has multiple names. But a lot of you guys may not know that this game is taking place 10 years after the previous game. The developers don't want to give the exact time, they're intentionally keeping it vague, but 10 to 20 years is where it's currently set at. So the characters will look a little bit older and their stories would have progressed since the last time we've seen them. Before we move on, if you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I'm going to be covering more topics outside of Tekken, but still trying to keep you guys informed on Tekken. A game that I like to play a lot, currently Grandmaster at, is Marvel Rivals. They did a very interesting thing with their latest skin. You know, this game is kind of like a gooner game when it comes to the skins, and it pays off a lot. Sex sales is one of the oldest things that humans have been doing, and Marvel Rivals and Street Fighter and other games like it has been taking full advantage of it. As you can see here with this new skin for Captain America, they hit plus to 1,000 and they gave that boy a hammer. This went viral with 1.2 million views, 26,000 likes. You even have the back shot crazy. This led gamers around the world to start comparing this skin to other games, and the same thing is absolutely true for Tekken. Tekken, for whatever reason, is very afraid to do a lot of things. In the past, they were teasing this update where they were going to work on the proportions of the female characters. They did a small update, but the developer said more was coming, but they did not deliver ever. And for the male characters, yeah, this is the craziest thing that what they did to Lee is a crime. And I think, one, they should look at what they did for past games, because Lee and the male characters were better represented then, but also look at how other games are benefiting from it. This game is struggling to find a new player base. I know there's a lot of people who love the game, but you have to be a fool to not acknowledge that this game is slowly dwindling and dying, and they need to tap into so many different demographics. And one way to do that very easily is just to hit the Twitter timeline with a fantastic design that may or may not be goonable. Following up a topic that I covered recently, you guys may be aware that PlayStation will soon be getting rid of the physical CDs for their games. If you want to purchase a PlayStation game, eventually your only option will be digital. Not only will this make PlayStation have a monopoly on the market, but also it doesn't make sense. If you think about how for the current PlayStation 5, there's two variants. There's the one with the CD drive, and there's another one that's only digital without the CD drive. Gamers specifically chose to pay extra to get the CD drive, but we could not even get the full lifespan of the console to use said CD drive. The developers, I don't know if we're halfway through the console or not, but through the lifespan of people owning that CD drive PS5 that costs more money, they said, actually, you don't get to use that anymore. Physical only. Now, this created so much backlash to where people like Trevor Noah, for those of you who know who this is, you know who this is, was weighing in on why this is a terrible thing. This tweet basically highlights like you can't share it with people, you can't share it with siblings, you can't pass games back and forth when it's digital. But then also PlayStation is known for reaching into people's game drives and taking games away, taking access away. That's another reason why CD is better. This situation has gotten so big, but I honestly don't know if PlayStation will pull back. Even when they're faced by multiple lawsuits alleging that they have a illegal monopoly, they probably will use all their lawyers to fight this off, because the amount of money they can gain from doing this is immense. Being able to shut down globally CD production and just do everything digitally is something that they probably have been dreaming about for a very, very long time. And you know, when they were first considering how much CD should cost, they took in the cost of production and all of that, right? Transport, making a CD, getting it to where it needed to go, so many different retailers selling it. That was all taken into consideration. But now that they're going digital, they're not going to wipe that consideration cost from it. They're just going to keep it there like it never existed. And if anything, with this monopoly they have, they could raise the price even further. With all of this conversation going on, this is why stories like this is so sad. A GameStop customer in Columbus, Ohio traded in his old Xbox 360 collection for over 1,000 in store credit and left with a PS5 game very happy. And you can see his mountain, his stack of games that he traded in to get one PS5. PlayStation also has this overarching plan to make AI a bigger part of the future for PlayStation. Some of the things that they listed is handling repetitive work, improving game testing, supporting software development, assisting with 3D model and animations, enhancing PlayStation Store recommendations, and detecting fraud. On the other side, you have Xbox, and it's now being reported that people internally at Xbox believe some studios are being punished after Call of Duty Black Ops 7 poor performance caused revenue issues across the entire business. Now, there's one thing that I love that the Tekken developers are doing, and that is the Tekken cartoon. I know there's a lot of legacy Tekken players who says that this is horrible, it's atrocious, I can't stand it, but you guys have to understand that this is not for you. This is not for people who's already playing the game. This is to reach people who are not playing the game at all and have no knowledge of the game, which is a lot of people. A lot of people have no clue about this game, and Tekken needs to do stuff like this if it wants to survive, right? So I love that they're highlighting a couple of characters and they're just making it cool, fun, and something purely for entertainment. We got a little bit of details about this. One being that it's a short form video series and it will feature characters like Paul, Yoshimitsu, Kazuya, Kuma. If this is successful, maybe they'll do more characters, but for right now, that's who they're focusing on. And the goal here is to feature bite-sized episodes under a minute, blending cute, expressive animations with catchy, addictive music. And this will be posted to Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I do like that Tekken has been branching out in terms of their marketing, but one, they have to keep it up. Two, they have to continue to think bigger and better and how do they reach more people. But then three, Tekken players have to understand what the developers are doing and why they're doing it. Saying that you don't want new players is saying that you want the game to die. Changing the game through gameplay is not what they should do, but creating cool and iconic things like this is more suited. I mean, Street Fighter did the Fortnite collaboration all those years ago, and it completely transformed that game to where so many different people who never played Street Fighter, or at least recently, knows what that game is. So Tekken needs to do something like that. Another thing that Tekken did that I thought was really interesting was the Roger and Leroy team up. This went absolutely viral, and I've seen so many non-Tekken accounts posting about it, which means the game is reaching more eyes than normal. That's amazing. The developer Harada, who no longer works on the game, gave us a little bit more information about how this actually came to be. And our predictions were true. Is that they were the ones who kind of like initiated this idea, and it was something they wanted to do after seeing that famous video, as Harada says. But after they started to leave the studio, they were debating about whether or not to do it. There was just a lot of new developers remaining, and Harada didn't know whether or not they would do it. But then Nikatsu gave the final direction, we absolutely have to do it. So you can see that the game is still being directed and shaped by the people who left. This is something that we know to be true because DLC characters takes about 1 to 3 years to make, and Tekken 8 and the developers who make the game, they will be thinking far in advance. This is why Harada, before he left, he said that Kunimitsu and Miguel are coming, and those characters at the time wasn't announced. So you can see that we still have some saving grace with these guys having their wisdom spread throughout the game even after departure. This is why I think Tekken 9 will be the true test of how crazy Tekken will get without these guys, because their impact is still felt now. And Nikatsu chimes in and says he's grateful to this person here and just the whole team in general for making this project come to light. Now, getting past the thing that Tekken has done right, we have to talk about something that Tekken has done absolutely wrong, and that is combining the Tekken World Tour with EVO Singapore. For those of you who don't know, there's going to be about 7 EVOs next year. One of them is going to take place in Singapore, and Tekken thought it would be a good idea to combine their Tekken World Tour Finals, which is the pinnacle of their whole entire tournament, with an EVO. Now, players have so many questions about, will you get an EVO trophy? Will you get a Tekken World Tour trophy? Will this be like a Tekken World Tour event, or will it just feel like a random EVO? Will people be able to show up and compete, or will it have different rules like the roundtable format? The Tekken developers have not responded to this just yet, but personally I think that this is a kind of an L. It diminishes what it means to participate in the Tekken World Tour, and it makes EVO seems more special than the whole circuit itself. Decisions like these is exactly why the players are already putting more emphasis on the EWC, the Esports World Cup, and that being kind of the pinnacle of when Tekken competition is supposed to go down versus the Tekken World Tour Finals and EVOs, because it's just being oversaturated, it's being muddied. Sejam says on Twitter, EVO Singapore has absorbed the Tekken World Tour Finals, and they take place in the same weekend venue. I would guess this is their goal for all tours eventually. So if EVO does take over every tour, that would be pretty interesting, because Saudi Arabia would have came in, took over EVO, and then used EVO to take over the tours of every game. And I don't know if this can make them better or if this can make them worse. I'm still waiting on that prize pool to increase, by the way. Players are highly anticipating that Saudi money to trickle down to the players, but that haven't happened just yet. For those of you who don't know, this event will take place on January 14th and the 17th. And since this does take place around the time when we get information about Yujiro, maybe they'll do a reveal, an official reveal for him at that time. Lastly, we're going to address the fallout of the Atif spamming running 2 and jab against his opponent in a tournament. Players were very upset at him because they felt like this was toxic, they felt like this was disrespectful, and why is he playing like this in tournament? He said on his Twitter that he had no idea this would go viral. He wasn't trying to disrespect the player. And this is just something that he does basically to fix his own timing, where he's like trying to, you know, can I beat this person with one move, with two moves? Can I get a read on this person? Like when you're already having a comfortable lead, you try to work on your timing, you try to learn, you try to adapt. And that's kind of what I do at times. Like in my gameplay, I start spamming one move and see if I could counter hit someone, get a read on their timing. So I kind of can understand what he's doing in this situation as well. And if it is toxic, honestly, bro, who cares? The main reason I was going to avoid this topic is because I don't have anything good to say about it. Tekken players are soft, they're lame, they're crybabies. How is key charging so controversial? How is so many people blocking players for the smallest inconvenience? All of this stuff, bro, is lame. The fact that you guys forced Atif to give this 2-paragraph apology is ridiculous, bro. If the people want to be toxic in tournament, if the people want to key charge, if the people want to be, you know, villains, then let them do it. You beat them. You rise up to the occasion and you shut them down. You put them in their place. Why are you crying on Twitter? Why are you like, I don't know. I don't like that aspect of fighting games. I don't like that aspect of Tekken. Generationally soft, as Ludwig says, soft as Joe Budden was holding up to Charmin. You guys who be getting your feelings hurt about stuff that's happening in a video game where two people fight virtually to the death, you gotta reassess your priorities. Atif did nothing wrong. Spaghetti Rip did nothing wrong for posting the clip. You guys are soft.